I got to 14 years of age and I was advised to try Shankar's World International Art Competition. And you know Shankar's family, do you? Ravi Shankar, the brother.
Oh, yeah.
And Yehudi Menuhin, and a story about him as well. So, and I won the English section. And there's a silver cup in that cupboard there, over there. And it's an handmade Indian piece of silver. And an invite to go to Indian House, Harwich, to meet the High Commissioner and have a meal. And that's where I met the WVS lady, as I said, Lady Redding, Stella Isaacs. And I was pretty poor, my family, and she said, would you like a holiday? I said, well, it's up to my mum and dad, really. If they come in, she said, no, on your own. I said, you'll meet artists and you'll be in. So I said, chat with my mum and dad, so I had a chat. It was all kosher, all very nice. And I went down to, and it was number 1 Lansdowne Road. Well, it was a palace to me, this place. And the doors were big bolted things, you know, and the bathroom was as big as this house. So the first thing she said when I walked the door, that there was a table laid. She said, do you know your cutlery layout, you know, like etiquette? So I said, I looked at her and said, I do actually. She looked at me and said, why? I said, because one of my teachers was an officer in the army, and that's the first thing they teach him, and he saw all the lads the layout of the cutlery. And she said, well, what's that for? And I told her. And I got on had a lovely, fantastic month. And I met watercolour artists, oil artists, and she said, where would you like to go? And I said, can I go to the East End, to the docks? And a daughter, or a stepdaughter I think it was, came down with a boyfriend who worked for the Evening News, Manchester Evening News. And he said, I'll write a little piece on you. And he did. And then they took me down to the docks. Battersea it was. And then I looked at the river and I thought, I've got to get this down. So I'm hurriedly doing sketches all week, getting all the barges. And that's the first time I ever heard this, and I didn't believe this to be true. Concrete barges. Yeah, and floated, specifically built in the war. And I don't know how they were constructed anyway. There was all sorts of things, and of course you saw all the traffic and wonderful things. And I'm saying 14 years of age,